into a planet. So I think that's true of most things. I can't think of something that's not. And so that's where I'm at.
All right. So you would say that you could believe in God if it was the universe, if God was defined as the universe.
I wouldn't call it God, though.
Well, under pantheism, though, that's what it's called.
Yeah, I used to be a pantheist, but I realized it's just a big misnomer, right? So does the God that you believe in, the universe God, does it want to be called God? Is like, I am the universe and you shall call me God.
Well, it's not a creator, that's what I'm saying.
Does it have a preference?
Yes, the preference is that we determine that as God.
So it's just what humans want to call it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, then I, as God, don't want to call us God anymore. I think it's super confusing because when Christians talk about God, they're talking about like a specific thing. When the Muslims talk about God, they're talking about I'm in the middle of a sentence.
Sure, go on.
Each religion speaks about a God or a deity in a specific way, and they name it God for a reason, right?
Yes,
like
but
the word God, I know it's like kind of a long sentence, but it has a really super valid point at the end of it. So if you want to hear the end of it, like you're going to like the beginning was really good. The end
not
is
really,
so
really.
good. Like the end is awesome. I know, it got you excited. It like wanted you to like get talking, but the end is like, whew, like you're gonna really want to talk after the end of it. Did you want to talk at the beginning?
Yeah, well, I'd say that there is no deity defined under pantheism.
Right. So that's not what I was talking about. So you're responding to something I didn't say.
Well, you said there was a deity.
Yeah, that's not what I said.
You were.
You were speaking in the middle of the sentence and you missed the whole point. I'll finish it and then you can like try to listen to it and then we can finish it. It might be a little more better conversation. In other religions, like Mormonism and Christianity and Islam, when they refer to a god, it means something specific. The deity they are talking about is named God or Allah or whatever, but it prefers to be called God. That's what it wants to be. That God has a personality, it has attributes, it has like certain things about it. So if we are going to say our thing is also God, but we just have taken your name and applied it to something else, then that's just going to be confusing in conversation. If you want to say like I think the entire universe is the universe, or call it like Sherwin, say there's a Sherwin, then I'm like, okay, I believe in the Sherwin, I'm with you, like now I understand it. But when you call it God, it's a misnomer. That's already a name of something else, and to use the same name in a conversation about religion and like existence and philosophy and stuff is going to be confusing.
I just think the confusion lies within whether or not there is a creator, and I think you believe that there is a creator.
Did you want to respond to what I said at all or no?
Yeah, so I'm sort of saying that that God doesn't need to be defined as a creator.
Okay. And did I say God needs to be defined as a creator? And so you're countering?
I'm wondering if you should define God as a creator. I'm wondering what your opinion is on that.
Yeah, God, like a mind type of being that created a universe?
Yes.
Sure.
Do you believe that
I don't believe in God, but I think that that's a good like definition of it.
That's not what I'm saying at all, though.
Right. So did you want to respond to what I said about the misnomer thing at all? Or why you use the word God even though it's already the name of something else?
Yeah, for sure. I believe that, God doesn't have to be, a creator. All right. So I believe what you're saying is that...
It's not what I said. I didn't say God has to be a creator. I said other religions are already using this word. Why are you
as a creator?
You're stealing their word.
This is where you're getting confused.
No, as the name of the thing.
Yes, this is where you're getting confused, and this is where I'd like to try and help you out a little bit, if that's all right. So God doesn't need to be a creator.
Got it. I understand that.
All right. So... good. I'm glad you understand that.
I never said it had to. Like, that's fine.
All right. Good.
Great point, Sherwin. That's like, honestly, great point.
So God can be synonymous with the... Do you think the universe is a creator? Do you think
No.
that the universe has to be a creator? No, you don't. So that means that God and the universe can be synonymous with each other without a creator being involved.
Right. Sure, yeah. I get that you can call the universe God. I get that you're allowed to do that. All I'm saying is that in these discussions where we're speaking to Christians, Muslims, pantheists, and atheists, if you call your God the same thing they call their God and they're so different, then it's confusing the conversation. You should call yours something else. They came up with their name first. You don't get to just steal it.
Look, pantheism is a much older religion than Taoism or Buddhism or anything like that, or Christianity.
When did pantheism start? Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe you get to call it God.
Much, much older than any of those other religions.
Yeah, what year did pantheism start?
Probably about 5,000 BC.
Mm-hmm. And so 5,000 BC, they were like, we're pantheist and we call this God. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you have a source on that?
I could find one, sure.
Sure, yeah, that'd be good. Because that seems like bullshit. Just like my bullshit alarm was like, wah, wah, wah. I got to change the batteries in that, actually.
But you know that Christianity isn't the oldest religion in the world, right?
Absolutely, it's not.
All right. So what other religions do you think are older than Christianity?
Judaism,
Buddhism, Taoism.
Yeah. When is Taoism from? That's when was the Tao written? It's a good question.
It's Taoism, not Taoism.
Yeah. So do you speak Mandarin?
I speak English.
Oh yeah. So in Chinese, it's Dao. Like they say, "Buzher Dao," right? That means like I don't know, or that's like Dao.
Right,
so
but
they don't do a hard T when they do it.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
speak perfect Mandarin, but it I took 2 years.
Alrighty. So in English, a Dao is a piece of wood.
因为我只说2年的，所以我不说好。But they say Taoism, it's like a soft or like a fast D. So it's fine to like call it Tao if you want, but if I say it the way that Lao Tzu would have said it, and you correct me, then you seem like an idiot. So I just like a little.
So you know, like the Om symbol, that's associated with Taoism.
The Om?
The Om symbol, yes.
I don't know if that's true. That's interesting. Okay, so this is 3rd century BCE. Yeah, so this is like 300 years before Christianity, but way after they were calling Yahweh God, right? So Judaism already had it as God. So they beat you to that on that. But let's see that Om symbol. The Om symbol. The uppercase Greek letter of the Omega thing. Oh, no, this is the other one. How do you spell Om?
O-double-M.
Okay, ancient India with the Vedic traditions. Yeah, so not quite the same thing, right? That's more associated with like Hindu.
Yeah, Hinduism, yeah.
Yeah, but you were saying it's associated with Taoism.
Oh, well, it is, yes.
What's the association?
The Om symbol.
Where in Taoism, when in like here, I have the Tao Te Ching here. At what point are they like talking about Om? Is there a chapter or something where it says that?
Look, if you don't know a lot about Taoism, that's all right. We don't have to talk about that. We can talk about...
I do want to talk about that. You brought it up. You made a claim. I just made you look dumb, and now you want to change topics.
I'm saying that pantheism is an older religion than Taoism.
Then why'd you bring it up? Did you not think I'd have the book or something? I've read this a ton of times. I love it. I think it's great.
But you know.
Okay, just to be clear for the audience, just for people, the Om is not associated with Taoism. People who make that connection are just putting two different things together. That's fine to do. Okay, it's not mentioned in the book. It's from a different religion. Okay, pantheism itself, as a word, came much later. But yeah, people were in Taoism. They're kind of saying like everything exists, right? It's called the Tao. Hey, you know what you should call it, Sherwin? The Tao instead of God. That's a better word for it. Why don't I call
it Sherwinism or
I love that.
Mesoism?
I think that's great. Yeah, if you're making it up, call it the Sherwin. Just when you call it the God, you're misusing the word.
But you realize that people are getting this from older religions.
Getting what?
Even your own ideas that you have yourself at the moment, you're getting this from older religions.
Okay. So, but we're updating it, right? We're calling it something else now? So we shouldn't.
I don't believe so. No, I don't believe we should. I think we should recognize it.
Why don't you call the everythingness that you believe in Zeus? Why don't you use that name?
I'm not Greek.
Okay. Are you Christian?
No.
Then don't use God.
Why shouldn't I use God as a synonymous
name
for
you perfectly laid it out. God is what is the word they use.
But under pantheism, God is synonymous with nature.
Use nature. Great. That's perfect. Yeah.
Look, many people are pantheists and they don't even realize it. I'm sure you are as well.
I'm with you. Like my version of pantheism would not use the word God though. I believe in nature. If you're saying nature exists, dude, you like totally converted me to believing nature exists.
Alrighty. So do you believe that nature could be considered as a higher power?
Higher than us?
Yes.
So in order to be higher than something, you have to tell me what metric you're talking about.
So consciousness, basically.
Is nature more conscious than humans?
I believe we all have individual consciousness.
I mean, I wasn't asking you. I was saying, is that what your question is?
Not exactly, no. I believe that we all have individual consciousness, but we're all connected to a higher consciousness.
So I don't know what higher... So compared from me to the pencil, what's higher, me or the pencil?
Okay, that pencil you're holding doesn't have consciousness, or it doesn't contain consciousness.
Okay. So when you say higher power, you mean more conscious?
Yes.
More love, how much consciousness do humans have? What's the measurement that you're using?
Probably a bit more than a pencil.
Okay, so one consciousness, or we have 100 consciousness, or how many?
Probably one. Okay. And then there's probably two consciousness towards a higher power.
So nature has two consciousness and we have one each?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay, if that's true, then yeah, nature two is higher than one. So I get what you're saying. Now how are you measuring how many consciousness the universe has? What's what's the measuring device?
Something that
you have a consciousnometer or something?
Something that the one consciousness isn't able to observe to the two consciousness, but the two consciousness is able to observe to the one consciousness.
Right. What's the tool? What's the thing that we're using to measure conscious?
Probably perspective.
Huh?
Perspective, I'd say.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what that means. Okay. So use your perspective, I guess, to explain to me, because I want to start simple, how the pencil doesn't have consciousness.
Sure. You created that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't contain individual consciousness. You created that
People
out of
don't know this. I do work at a pencil
So
factory.
you could be considered a god to that pencil. It doesn't contain any consciousness.
Stop masturbating.
Okay.
Wait, how do you know this doesn't contain consciousness? Just because I created it?
Oh, it contains no brain cells, does it?
Okay, okay, so because it has no brain cells, we know it's not conscious. I get, like, I'm with you there. And so what you're saying is now you look out at nature, and how many brain cells does nature have?
Lots.
Because it has hours, right? It's like it's umbrellaing hours, right?
Plants are conscious. You'd have to be pretty silly to say that plants aren't conscious.
But they don't have brain cells.
They have consciousness.
Oh, so then so let's go back to the pencil. Now we got to figure this out again. What is it about the pencil that means it doesn't have consciousness? Because you said it doesn't have brain cells, but plants don't have brain cells, and they do, so this still might.
Yeah, but you created that pencil.
I didn't, but let's pretend I made the pencil. Then can you not make things with consciousness?
Yes, but the things that you make...
I made my tree.
Yes. It depends if it pertains to life or not.
Okay, so the pencil's not alive. That's how you know. So everything alive has consciousness, and things that are not alive don't have consciousness, right?
Things that don't pertain to life do not have consciousness.
What do you mean pertain to life? Because life is holding...
Contain life.
Huh? Say that one more time?
I mean that things that contain life.
I mean, there's life inside of here. There's tardigrades and other types of bacteria swimming all over this. Does that mean it has? But the pencil itself isn't alive?
I believe the paint that you painted onto your nails contained some sort of, something there.
God, what a great point. Actually, that's a really good point. It might be the case that my nails contain something there, and I hadn't really...
Maybe it was your
You know
conscious
what?
effort.
Maybe I'll be a pantheist now, because that point was fucking devastating. Wow, I might even just go be a Christian now. What a pointless conversation. Hey, are you there? You're rubbing your microphone on. Do you mean to be up here? Symmetrical? I don't think they mean to be up here. I just put you on mute because it was like you're scrounging around on your microphone. Once you get your microphone figured out, unmute it and then talk. For everyone else,
yeah, can you hear me?
Kind of. It's a bit loud. Are you like in a outhouse near a freeway?
Well, yeah, I'm near a road.
Oh, okay. Your voice is coming through perfectly clearly. There's just a little bit of background noise, but I want to first and foremost apologize for the last guest. He was a dork, and then let's not apologize for you. What's your age and your religion?
Well, I'm 39, and I guess I would say I'm a Christian.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, we can work on that. Did you want some help kind of like moving away from Christianity? Maybe like I can help kind of explain to you why it's not true or something like that? Or do you want to explain why God is so bad?
Why God? What? Well, why do you think he's bad?
Man, I'm sorry. The sound quality is really difficult to hear. Like the wind is making your microphone auto, what's it called? Auto filter in some way, and so it like makes your voice go down. Is there any way you could get
better?
A quieter? Say it again.
Yeah, is this better?
That's a little better. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the Christian God is. Was that your question? Is why is God so bad?
Yeah, why do you think he's bad?
That's what my question is. Why is God so bad? Well, yeah, I mean, just like from reading the Bible, right? If you're like, oh, this is the Bible, this is where God talks about the Bible or is talked about in the Bible, and then it says, God says, here's how to get slaves. God says, here, I'll accept this human sacrifice. Oh, that guy did something bad, kill him. Like that all sounds like bad stuff to me.
Yeah, I guess if you put it in that context, I guess you can say it's bad.
I think there's a misconception that everybody that's alive is God's child, and I don't necessarily believe that, because there's plenty of proof that that's not the case.
Yeah, what's one proof that that's not the case?
Well, I mean, if you think about, like, in biblical times, I mean, you just have to look at the Bible and see that there's a lot of people that weren't necessarily God's people.
Yeah.
And God went after them. Like, for instance, when the Egyptians enslaved the Israelites, which were considered to be God's people, he basically went after them and killed a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to say that the Egyptians weren't God's people.
Yeah, I think put that in, to put myself in God's shoes. I like to, kind of try to understand what in the story, what's happening. So like, if I have my people, and I don't know exactly what that means, but like my friends, my family, maybe like the people that I hold dearest, the people that I think like my children, they're going to go on and like continue my legacy in some way and also live their own lives. And those are my people. You know what I mean? Like that's what's up. This is like, these are my peoples, And then if a bully at school messes with my kids, I'm going to be mad about it. Right.
Right.
Yeah. But what I wouldn't do is like kill them. You know what I mean? Because then that would be bad. But that's what God does. And so that's why God's bad.
Yeah, but that's, I think it's because you're looking at it from your moral standard.
Right.
I think what a lot of people don't understand is that everything that happens is for God's glory. And so these people were put there for that reason.
Everything that happens is for God's glory?
I believe so, yeah.
You think the Holocaust was for God's glory?
I think that when you look at the greater good that came from that, maybe. The people that actually stepped up. Yeah, I know, it's hard to swallow. I mean, it's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, I don't think I feel like we can spit that out. I don't think we have to swallow that. I think that like, just even if it is like, hey, later people learned not to do that again, it would be better if it never happened. Right. And so then we wouldn't ever have to do that again. So to say that like for God's glory, we had to have, the Holocaust, I think is like just a really terrible thing for you to say. And I think you sound awful saying that.
No, I know it sounds awful, but I mean, that's just the way I see it. There's a lot of examples of that. If there wasn't any evil, there wouldn't be any good to contrast it. So
wait, you don't
we
think
live in a world where a lot of horrible things happen.
I'm sorry.
And I'm not saying I agree with them.
I want to key into that real quick. You're saying without evil, there can't be good?
Yeah, it's as bad as that sounds. Yeah, I think so.
So was the Garden of Eden, like, do you believe that was real?
Yeah.
But it wasn't good?
No, I think it was good.
What was evil in the Garden of Eden?
I think Satan. I think Satan's corruption,
Right. I mean, before Satan did the fruit thing, right? Before that,
right?
Was it good or was it just like neutral?
No, I think it was good.
Okay. How can it be good without evil, though?
Well, I'm talking about this world. I'm not talking about the Garden of Eden. I think.
Oh, okay. So like, in heaven, that rule doesn't apply, right?
Well, no, I think that's the idea, right? When they ate the apple, that's when they understood good and bad. And so we live in a fallen state.
I know these are words you're saying that you've heard before, but they don't really apply to what we're talking about. Just like, might want to like think a bit and make sure that we're staying on topic here. So you said the Holocaust was overall good, and then we're saying
no, that's not what I said.
Without evil, or it was for God's glory.
No. What I'm saying is
the Holocaust is for God's glory. I'm just recapping.
No.
Some people just came in. I just want to recap.
I'm not saying it's for God's glory. What I'm saying is
everything is for God's glory. I said, is the Holocaust for God's glory? And you said yes.
I think in the grand scheme of things, maybe.
Yeah, right. That's okay. In the grand scheme, it's like overall, when you like take everything into account, the Holocaust was like part of God's glory, and so that's good. And so, man, it's hard to get past that. But you can't have good without evil, and so evil is for God's glory too.
Well, let me explain that though. The reason I say that is because God worked in ways and moved people to help a lot of people survive. That is what I'm saying. So don't twist my words.
Yeah, my grandpa survived. My grandpa was in 2 concentration camps. He survived. Is that what you're talking about? So God allowed the other people to die so that my grandpa could live? Because that is true.
He didn't allow it. Death happens. It's not that he allows it. It's going to happen.
My grandfather literally escaped one of the camps. I don't know. He was in Auschwitz and a different one. And I don't know which one, what order. But one of them he escaped by pretending to be dead. And so they threw him on a pile of corpses. And then, because they thought he was dead too. Because he was so scrawny by then that he just like went to like, it was kind of, you know, like doing this. But it wasn't his hand. It's like someone else's hand he was peeking through. And so then they threw him on the pile and threw other bodies on top of him. And then he had to like climb out of them and dig under a fence and escape. So in that way, you're right. Like those dead bodies provided cover for him. So that was like the overall good is they all died and he got to escape. But what I'm saying I think would have been better is if my grandpa had lived and all those people had lived also.
Well, no, look, I can sense the sarcasm in your voice, but look, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that
this is a 100% true story.
Okay, but I'm not saying that people are dying is a good thing. What I'm saying is, with God's grace, with God's help, a lot of people were able to overcome that. So when good overcomes evil, that's a good thing. Would you agree?
I guess so, yeah, but don't you think that... Sorry, it's getting so loud where you are again. I might have to move on just because of like how loud it is. I would actually like to keep talking to you about this because I think it just shows how I'm going to mute you for 1 second. It shows how like nutso butso Christianity is. But let me see. This person has like this person might be a friendly. Angie, are you here on purpose? I don't think Angie's here on purpose.
Nope, sorry. You can drop me. My bad. I'm clean.
All good. Okay. Let's see here. I don't know if Joel's here. Joel, are you here on purpose?
Oh, sorry. No, I'm not a double Mezzo Plus subscriber. Apologize. I didn't mean to come up.
You used to be. What happened? Do you need money help?
I don't know. It was gift. I was gifted it, and I ran out.
That was from me, but I cannot afford it anymore.
Hey, happy Pride Month.
Is that right now? Is June Pride Month?
Just started June 1st, Pride Month. I
did not know that.
It is all over the social media, and it's an exciting month. It's the whole month, so you have time.
Yeah, I end up waiting till the end of the month, and around the 30th, I'm like, happy Pride, and then...
That's not a bad idea, just because like everyone's going to be doing it today.
Yeah.
And then, for a week, people are excited, and then I'm sure the parade is sometime this month, and then, by the end of the month, everyone's kind of forgotten about it.
We went to a Pride parade last year, and it was like super fun, and guess who was there? I'm sure they're always there. The loud Christian with the megaphone and the big signs telling everyone they're going to hell. And it was fun to try to explain to my kids, like, they were like, why is that guy yelling at everyone? Yeah.
Don't take your honoris kids to the
Tribe?
Pride.
Hello?
Can you not send your kids to the Pride?
Tribe, 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. Hold on, Tribe. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Tribe? Hey,
Yeah.
hi. Sorry, 1 second.
Happy Pride, tribe. Just hold on for a second.
Why are you sending your kids
I gotta
to the
finish.
Pride?
So enmity, I think we're done because you have tribe. Hold on. I'm trying to move on. Tribe. Hold on. Okay.
Hold on. I'm gonna mute you, tribe. We're gonna say Happy Pride to you in a second, but we're just talking to Emnemism.
No, man.
Enmism, Happy Pride, and I'm sorry that you think the Holocaust is good, but we're gonna move on to another guest. Because we don't want to hear the rest of that. Okay. So sorry about that, Joel. You were being interrupted by Tribe. Tribe, what's your age and religion?
I follow Buddhism and Bon, and please do not wish us Pride Month because it's banned in our countries.
You follow Buddhism and what?
And like it's like Hinduism. So I'm going to block you because you guys are like going against human nature.
What?
So bye bye. See you.
Okay.
We're going against human nature.
Yeah, we're using our cell phones like electricity and stuff. We're not supposed to do that, is what he means.
That's true. I guess he's Amish.
He's Buddhist, Hinduist, and Amish.
Yeah.
He's like that perfect trifecta.
Tribe, you I guess haven't learned how to block because it goes against human nature. But
Tribe, if you're trying to like do a bigoted thing where you block me because I'm gay, I'm not gay. Does that help you want to stay here? Oh.
I'm not. I got to be honest. I'm not gay either. But if I was, Mezzo, I think I'd be really into you. Like I think because like
Are you talking to Tribe?
No, you.
Oh,
because I really like you. I'm taken. I know, but like I'm just saying, like
Joel, can you not type so loud?
That's not me this time.
Oh, I apologize. Jeez, I didn't notice I was here.
That's all right. I'm glad you're here. What's your age and your religion?
My name is Cameron. I'm 40, and I'm not W Mezzo Plus, but I have faith that I do.
Good move.
I'm atheist. I'm atheist, and I appreciate what you do. Really, it's cool to say hi to you guys.
Hey, you too. I like what you do. That was actually really funny. Thank you for that.
Thanks, bro.
All right, take care. That was a good one.
Was he transcribing the live before?
Yeah, I've been getting the lives transcribed. So for people who are, in the chat, if you're here, please be typing this all out. I used to have it like the transcript AI generated, and then it's not perfect, like it'll say things like it made it look like I was losing arguments and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's wrong.
So as you're transcribing, make sure you just like alter it a bit here and there to make it seem like, I'm doing better. How are you, Joel?
Pretty good. A little groggy, did one of the night shifts last night, so it's early, but it's 11, so it's fine. Gonna have some yogurt. 11:07, because it's the top of the hour. At the top of the hour, we say hello. We say it's Mezzo Debates Live. We say it's a subsidiary of PVD. That's right. Top of the hour at 11:07 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we've got JRB hanging out with Horizon Zero Nazi. Take it away, Mez.
Oh yeah. It's going to be one of those kind of fucking mornings. All the time, every time. Welcome in, everybody. We're so glad you're here. It's really not a show until Joel gets here. We were having fun. We were cooking Christians. I spit roasted a pantheist. It was a real good time. Like, just absolutely obliterated a pantheist who I think has been here 8 times and sucked. And now we have a much better guest named Horizon. And Horizon, welcome in. How old are you? What is your religion?
Hi, I'm 29, and I'm an atheist. I actually spoke to you before. I literally just came in to say hi and that I love watching your stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can just like, do you want to wave? Like, wave really loud by your microphone, and we'll hear it.
I feel so special. I got to be up here for like so many minutes.
You were part of the top of the hour. Yeah. All right. Well, now I'm going to drop you though. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Horizon's out of the hot seat.
yeah, we almost had a guest there. Yeah. Wait, you guys don't wave like that? What do you mean? You see someone you know down the street?
Yeah, and then in Canada we yell. We go, "Hey, hey!" With that wave while we're doing that wave.
Yeah. Sometimes you do both hands too. I've seen you.
Yeah. Well, that's if you're like really excited. You know.
It's my friend. Hi,
Yeah.
Joel.
Hey, I know you. Hey.
Or if you're our next guest, maybe you wave with like a single straight arm out at about 45 degrees. And Miss Sim, welcome back.
Oh dear.
I know that you don't think the Holocaust was good, but you did say it was for the God's glory, which was super a weird thing to say. Did you want to retract that maybe?
Symbiotic.
That's a no.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think you're taking it out of context, actually, though.
Put it in context for me. Make it make sense.
It's, like I said, it's a hard concept to understand
That's where I'm at.
because it's such a. Okay, so when I said that good overcoming evil, you agreed with that, right?
Yeah. So like, if like somebody is kicking a dog and you stop them, I think you did a good thing. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, because that would be considered.
But the
evil,
kicking
yeah.
the dog part wasn't a good thing.
No, but
How did you get to a noisier
Say I
place?
stopped them, that would be good, right? Is it still noisy?
Are you like in a diner?
I'm actually inside now.
A diner.
You have like a television on and somebody is cleaning up after dinner.
It sounds like somebody's washing a TV in the sink.
You know what? Let me go to a quiet room.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. And Joel, if you could go to a louder room, I think it might help even out because you can't have quietness without loudness, right? Quietness is the privation of loudness. Yeah. Just like he was saying, you can't have good without evil.
No, that's not what I said.
I don't know
word for word. Yeah.
I don't know if you've asked Symbiotic this, but like, if there were two possible worlds, one with Holocaust, one without Holocaust, would you choose the Holocaust world?
Yeah, which one's better? Am I getting choppy, or they went on thing? But I heard choppiness. Maybe Joel.
Yeah, I think it's just like so glitchy. I don't think it's me. I think like I've got good Wi-Fi.
He's muted though.
Yeah, but I think it's just like a weird because that's still his noise.
Hey, let's try to come back. Let me see here. Yeah, that was weird. He was on mute, but it was like.
Yeah, I think he's just like got bad connection, and they just are cleaning up after turkey dinner that they ate on televisions.
Yeah, no,
but
it's
the old kind, right?
Watch your TV set. Oh, see, now I'm hearing something.
You are, yeah.
Hello.
I'm gonna take my time, yeah. And she gonna get hers before I'm gonna take it slow. I'm not gonna rush the stroll. One more time, here we go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, all the time, every time. She can get a, and he can get a, so we can get a sexual Eruption. Yeah, it might have just been my auto tuner that was causing the Wi-Fi issue.
All the weird stuff. Yeah.
Fuck, I love that song. What a good song. It's so fun. Eruption.
I don't know. Like, honestly, and you've said it before that you really love sexy music.
I love it.
That you just want to make sexy music. You love listening. I don't know if I know any sexy music.
Oh yeah, let me get you some good sexy music recs. I mean, like, if you want like older stuff, like there's some sexy, Janet Jackson, Aaliyah, right? Aaliyah is sexy music. And then, let me see here. I think, you would like, by the way, some like Bjork is sexy too. Like she does some music that like Venus Has a Boy is a sexy song. No. I think that is a different type, but you should look into like I don't know if you would like that more. Her.
Diane just mentioned Marvin Gaye, and Marvin Gaye, one of his songs, and it's Sexual Healing, does something that really bothers me. It's the type of thing. Do you have things that really irk you when you listen, like make you angry almost if you hear them? Like for me, it's when I get that feeling of sexual healing, and the background vocals going sexual makes me angry. I just hate that.
Angry.
Sexual. Like,
I hate someone had to do that in sexual. Yeah, there's a great Weird Al song that is an original of his, where he's like saying how badly he doesn't want to be with someone because like they broke up, and the whole joke is like, I'd rather swallow a handful of tacks than spend one more minute with you, and he keeps this like listing worse and worse things that he'd rather do. And at one point it has these like doo-wop background vocals who are just doing oohs and ahs, and they do that at one point when he says like, I'd rather have leeches suck blood out of my face, and they're all in the background going leeches, and it's like like it's just the one time that they come in with a word, and it's fucking great to have to sing leeches in the studio.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's really good. I love that song. It's really funny. I had never heard it before, and then I just like stumbled across it with my kids, and we were cracking up. There's a great music video for it and everything. Hey, we have a guest though. The one above all, welcome in. I'm glad you're here. What's your age and your religion?
41 and Christian.
Awesome. Why do you think God's so bad?
So I think to be bad, you have to be good, and to be good, you have to be bad. They both have to, I believe in the duality of things. Okay. That in order to set a scale for anything to be even labeled one side, there has to be an equal or opposite.
So I just got $5 from Quill on my Cash App for a new chair. I think that's good. Thanks, Quill. That's great. I appreciate it. That's good. That's going to help my back. So am I wrong? That's not good because there's nothing bad? Or is it bad because my back hurts in this chair?
No, it becomes good as soon as someone steals $5 from you, I think is what the one is saying.
That's a good way. That's a good way of putting it.
Right. So it when like you make an income and all those things, it's only good if you also lose the equivalent amount of money.
No, it's good because I didn't have the $5.
Right.
I do have. Yeah.
So when he gave you the $5, you assumed for whatever moment that was good, right? But that level of good wasn't represented until somebody stole the $5. Then at what point did you regress down to now I'm out $5 and I was actually very happy when I had the $5?
I don't understand the question.
Well, it's what is good and what's bad until you feel something worse than what you currently are, right?
Yeah, sure. I get it. So like if I'm on vacation and everything feels lovely, like I'm on the beach and it's like, this is all great. And then someone brings me like a free like iced tea then I go, I don't know if this is good because everything was already good. So I don't know if I enjoy this or not. You have to kick me in the teeth first and then give me the iced tea, or give me like a drink that tastes bad first. And then when I drink the good one, I go, oh, this is nice. This is better.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm not saying, I mean, that is a representation of getting kicked in the teeth, but obviously you would need to have some sort of comparison to compare the moment that you're in, right? So you're on a vacation, right? Okay. Could it get better? Yes, everything was included, right? But could it get better or could it get worse? Your level of good or bad in that moment is subjective. I mean, it could be good or bad.
Okay. And so so God is bad then? The answer, I guess, would be so that we think he's good, or so that he can feel better, he does bad things?
Not again, but what I would say is I think there is literally two places between creation and non-creation. And I think
that's a great point. I've always wondered about that too. I don't know if Joel, you've ever thought of like how many places are in creation and non-creation. Like I think that's.
So I just want to make sure that like God is not all good in your view.
He's not all good because he is all good, right? So he is all evil because he is all good. There's a comparison.
Yeah, it's like a contradiction.
Well, it's a perfect contradiction though, right? Because he has to be so good for there to be something so bad to give the word evil, right? So if good is 0 and evil is 10, for you to equate that 10 being the complete opposite, he has to be so sanctified at the top for you even to equate.
It has to be -10.
-10, whatever, however you want to place it. It's the parallel opposite. It's the mirror reflection of it. And
yeah, but like, so if we have, let's say, an omni-furry bunny.
Omnivorous.
So like this is like super furry, like the most furry, right? It's all furry. Maybe it's all fur. Just by virtue of it being so furry, we can imagine what not furry is. Is that what you're kind of saying?
If you ever were put into a position without the fur being there, then you could then say, well, wow, there was a lot of fur, right? So what is a lot compared to a little, right? So what's 1,000 pieces of fur versus 1 billion pieces?
But my thing is like
the fur until you get
what I'm trying to get at is like
opposite of fur.
What I'm trying to get at is like the bunny is the furry thing, and it's not the not furry thing. Just like God is the good thing, and he's not the evil thing.
Are you living inside the bunny? Like, are you living inside the fur? Do you only ever see fur, and then you're taken out of it, or is it
the thing? I think, and Joel, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what you're saying is like bunny has positive fur, and then the lack of fur makes it bald. But then what he's saying is there's also negative fur. God has negative, like the opposite of fur.
So right? I wouldn't say the negative fur. I would say it would be bald.
You think evil is equivalent to just their like not being goodness? Like the neutral is evil?
I think the neutral is our justification for one or the other, right? We're trying to have both. We're trying to mix oil and water. That's the neutrality. Is that
what a weird answer? That didn't make sense.
So it's like if you were to shake oil and water, right, inside a glass, like a sealed one, it'll mix for a little bit, and you could call that neutrality. But in reality, there's just two separate constituent parts. And
so that's what I'm saying. So negative fur is a real thing. That's what evil is. Go ahead, Joel.
Did you say you're a Christian, the one?
I am a Christian, yes.
Okay, but you believe that God represents good and evil in one being.
Correct.
And we are all part of that.
I mean, that would be omnipotent.
And we are all part of that God.
Correct.
Okay.
Did you know, Joel, that omnivorous is a real word? It's like actually, it doesn't mean furry.
Not Christian, brother.
Yeah, I'm just in the middle of
I went to Catholic school, confirmed.
The one above all, sorry, I was just telling Joel something kind of funny. Omnivorous, it's spelled different, F-E-R or F-A-R, omnivorous, is an omni capability. It's like one of the omni attributes that isn't always given to God, but they would use it like with salt. Like it like works on all kinds of food. You know what I mean? Like it's something like that. It's I think it has to do with like it kind of means it can like
is it like you
do
can,
all kinds of things, but like it usually is used with like in that category. Like
is it kind of like you can wear anything with denim?
Yeah, kind of like that, or like or just like if there was a person who wears all kinds of like fashion and like presents all styles like of all eras and stuff, like this is an omnivorous fashionista or something like that. I think that's how you would use it. I'm not totally sure. It's kind of a bit abstract, but yeah, it has to do with like you make all kinds of things.
That's crazy because like people have kind of referenced me like that when it comes to like just being in an environment like a party or just like any sort of performative space or anything. Like I always fit in. Like I'm kind of like the perfect person to have around in
just
all.
Like omnicool.
Yeah, there's part of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joel, I have a question for you.
But if you produce all kinds of body fluids, you're omniferous. Go ahead. The one has a question for Joel.
So I'd like to talk about circumcision.
Thank you.
So my question is that if hell is eternal separation from God, right? And I just want to hear your breakdown on this because I've watched some of your videos. I feel you're very well informed.
Joel, are you okay with this line of questioning?
So far, yeah, I consent.
Okay. That being said,
should I just like jump to the chase? Yes, it is.
So in the Bible, there's no direct instructions for circumcision, right? We get it from the Torah. And specifically in the Torah...
Wait a minute. Is that true?
The Bible is like the Torah is part of the Bible, so I don't know what you're talking about, but go on.
So in the Torah, in the Torah, it's written that Abraham did have circumcision. However, in the oral Torah, meaning how the Jews interpret the writing in practicality. So they use the oral Torah versus the actual written Torah. And in the written Torah, they talk about how Abraham had circumcision, but there was no instructions on how to perform circumcision. So only then later were the rabbis to use the oral Torah, which they wrote themselves, on how to interpret circumcision. What I find interesting is that when we talk about what hell is, and we talk about the eternal separation from God, I put this interesting question into ChatGPT the other day, just for fun. And I asked, how many men in the world are circumcised? And out of all the men in the world, ChatGPT told me 1/3. And then I said, 1/3 of all the men in the world are circumcised? And then I said, it's like they're doing it to these children within the first 8 days of their life, right? And there's actually no instructions at all anywhere that say how to
instructions on how to do it or that
Correct.
You should do it.
Correct. There are no instructions on how to perform.
But it says you should do it, but not how.
Correct.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter how you do it. I mean,
Absolutely,
there's descriptions of how to do it in the Bible, like they use knives. And
No, there's
stuff.
not. No, there's not.
It doesn't Moses when his wife has to circumcise his son.
Yeah,
doesn't say what they use.
It's a flint knife, they cut off the foreskin and then rub
but
it on
Abraham was the first that was
feet, which
circumcised.
probably
He
is
did
his
not
penis.
have
But
instructions.
But yeah, I guess the question would be like, what is a foreskin and what does it mean to cut it off? And, do you always use a flint knife?
There we go.
But
so
I guess maybe those things are just
weird
not.
about the 1/3 that are all men, 1/3 of all men, and the 1/3 that fell out of heaven out of good grace were 1/3. You think that's weird?
No. So you're saying that the 1/3 of people alive today are the men. The men alive today are the 1/3 of people who fell out of heaven because you shouldn't get circumcised.
Correct, because they're separated from God.
I think that's a great point. Yeah, I think that's a good. So like by cutting their penises at birth.
Yeah, I mean, think about
they
what
did
you
it the
just
wrong
said.
way.
Cutting
What
their
you're saying is,
penises at
hey,
birth.
you know what?
You're
The one
cutting
who is above all. Why don't you rise above interrupting?
Okay, go ahead.
Jesus Christ. By the way, Jesus was also circumcised. Just to be clear. Okay, so the one. So you're saying that 1/3 of men alive today happens to be the same number as the people who fell out of heaven. And you think that there's a correlation there, like a connection?
Yeah, because it says that hell is the eternal separation from God. So what is the one thing that we separate? We cut the penises.
And that's bad.
Yeah, within 8 days.
So you're not supposed to do that. Otherwise,
there's no instruction in the Torah on how to do it. There's only oral Torah.
Are we supposed to do it or not?
No, there's no instruction.
Well, we're supposed to circumcise, but we don't know how to do it.
Correct. So then why?
What do you think circumcision was describing in Genesis 17? So when God is saying, do that.
You know something crazy? I don't think you need to cut anything. I think it naturally circumcises itself, like it peels back. It's not
let's just really drill down on this. So in Genesis 17, God makes a circumcision covenant with Abraham, and he says, you have to circumcise every child in your home that's 8 days old, circumcise your slaves. And what he means by that is just like 8 days, just let it naturally peel back.
Correct. Yeah. It'll peel back.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense that somebody would give instructions that at specifically 8 days, they should let some foreskin naturally peel back. You're nailing it. You're critically thinking, and you're really reading with comprehension.
So he gave the command to let things naturally happen.
Yeah. Like on the 8th day, just like sit there and just let the penis do what it's going to do.
Right, like it's going to peel back naturally, like a seed pops
it's like specifically on the 8th day, a baby's foreskin is just going to naturally peel back. Yeah, you're probably right. That makes so much sense.
Like the umbilical cord falls off. Like there's all types of a couple days that the skin dries up.
Do you think that everyone's penis, when they don't get it cut, that it naturally peels back? Is that true?
Yes. Well, no, because I think that there are those that don't peel it back. I think that that's part of the issue also. You have the first couple of days of a child's birth to peel back the foreskin, and it peels back.
Well, no, it peels. You don't peel it back. But what do you mean by peel back? Can you describe what
with a flint knife?
No. So like the amount of skin that they cut off is maybe about an inch, right? You could probably say it's about to the first digit on your thumb.
For mine, it was like a lot of foreskin. I was mostly foreskin.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is that
now it's tiny, but at the time
they took you just had a long hanging flappy. Yeah. Oh man, what a loss. You could have said it was like super long now, you know.
Dude, the doctor on mine called it a 5 skin. No joke.
Mm-hmm. Well, the procedures that I've seen were only about like an inch or two onto like the first knuckle, like on your thumb, basically. But
you watch a lot.
What's that?
You watch a lot of them.
I've seen it. Well, that's where I got into. Well, what is this? How are they performing these procedures? Like, what's a bris? Like, how are they doing it? There's like official medical tools.
I really got to see this more.
And they literally carve.
What websites do you go to look at those? Actually, DM them to me because I don't want to get in trouble. Actually, don't DM them to me. I'd rather
just. You got them on YouTube. To be honest, you could just put Jewish bris. I mean, it's literally a protected video because it's considered a religious practice. Like it's religiously accepted. Within the first 8 days, they have a device that the rabbis can specifically use. It cuts a perfect.
I think it's silly.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. We all agree. But what you're saying is that Moses did it wrong?
Yeah, because no.
No.
Hang on. Oh, yeah. Where he cut with the flint knife was
or his wife. So that was the wrong way to do it?
Right, because again, we get the first word.
Why did it soothe God's anger then?
Yeah.
Okay, because then soothing anger is, remember, we go back to the good and bad, is the soothing happiness. Right. So what is
the one, just to be clear what happened, God was upset and going to kill Moses. Moses's wife uses a flint knife to cut baby penis, or maybe a grown-up guy's penis. It wasn't at 8 days.
Right, because 8 days, right.
It wasn't. It was later.
Right.
And then God was like, okay, fine. So why, what was that about? How does that respond to, or like apply to anything you're talking about?
So doing it after 8 days, you're essentially like saying, I've already shown up to court and I've already committed the crime and there's nothing I can do to undo it, but here's me trying to make it right.
It worked.
No, because...
Okay, so the son, at 8 days, it didn't naturally rescind. It didn't naturally peel back.
Correct.
And so God failed because God's supposed to, if it's natural. Well, who's supposed to naturally pull the penis back?
The parents. The parents are supposed to.
That's not natural if they're supposed to do it.
Yes, it is, because it says that he had circumcision.
Oh, you mean just like roll it back with your fingers, but don't cut it?
That's it. There's no cutting at all.
It's pulling it.
Yeah, it slides down, brother. Like, think about it like correct.
You kind of like pull it.
Imagine if your foreskin was a condom around the actual penis part of like this.
I just got to say, foreskins do not work as condoms, just for misinformation reasons in the chat. Don't use your own foreskin as a condom. It will not work.
The same,
unless you use like a wire to bind it
down. Think about
if you use someone else's foreskin as like a dental dam, I guess that would work if you had a really big one like Joel's.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I think it is. I think it's just very interesting that 1/3 of men who have cut penises in the world.
So you think God was like, you know what, Moses? You didn't pull back the foreskin with your fingers at 8 days, so I'm going to kill you because I'm good. And then
his wife's like, oh, hold on. Let me just literally cut it all off.
Now I'm
God's like, oh, I love that.
Don't anyone else do that, but I loved that. Yeah. Cool. This is a weird stance. Hey, I got a Cash App, another good Cash App from Max in here, $3. I have done this one. I have drawn this one out before, but I did get in trouble, and it's early in the live to be drawing this one out. Sorry, guys. This one always gets me in trouble because the only way to draw it is pretty graphic, so we might have to say that then. But the one, this has been weird. Did you have anything else that you wanted to oh, whoops. Oh, I dropped him early.
Yeah.
What a weird hill to die on.
You know why God, we know that God doesn't exist, but you know why he's so bad to believe in the one? The one just proved, his brain's broken. Like, that's a broken brain.
Yeah, and I think that, that's okay. Like, not everyone's brain is going to be perfect, but it does serve as a nice example, right? That the last two guests, one was talking about how the Holocaust serves as part of God's glory, and then had to walk it all back and change everything he said. And then the next one was like, hey, I really want to talk about circumcision. I've been watching a lot of videos of baby penises, and like what do you have to get into in order to apologize for how weird this thing is, how weird this story is?
I mean, that guy is all over the map. You know what's weird is sometimes when you want to reinvent Christianity and turn it into some sort of woohoo nonsense, more woohoo nonsense, like we're all one and we're all connected and God is good and evil and we are a part of that God and, whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, water it down, just make God be conscience, do that. That's a good idea.
Fine.
But it's also for some reason I get my back up as an ex-fundamentalist Christian and I'm like, you're wrong. That's not what it is.
Yeah, I mean, they are, but so the pantheist we had in here was kind of doing that. And you've heard me do this too, where it's like, if the God that you're talking about doesn't want to be called God, they're not like, I am God, call me that. Then don't use that word because it's going to be confusing. You're mixing it with what the fundamentalists are talking about and what the Muslims are talking about and everything. Now it's you're just muddying the waters. Muddying.
You're muddling and muddying, and that's why it's so confusing.
I just got a weird, this guest has gone offline, but there wasn't anyone online. That was a weird thing.
Maybe it was one of those long loading that you can't even see it. And then
I wasn't loading anybody though. But Marsh is here now. Marsh, welcome in. What's your age and your religion? Marsh, are you with us? This might be an accidental request. Marsh looks like he might be a cool guy.
Marsh.
Do you know how to play the Super Mario theme? It's really hard.
It's
kind of tricky.
Yeah, well, that's basically it.
You watched some of Last Man on Earth. I think we're rewatching it again for the 10th time. It's just one of the best shows to me. I think it's so perfect as a TV show. It's so sweet. It's so funny. There's crazy action in it. There's sci-fi. Like there's so many things in it that are really enjoyable. And the cast is also good. But there's like when Fred Armisen comes later and tries to lie and say he's a piano player and does Benny and the Jets. And they're like, oh, why don't I hear a little of it right now? And he's like... like he hits the exact right timing and the up and down notes, but it's just not right at all. And he's like, Benny.
I wonder if like they like Fred Armisen's just like everyone's friend or something, or they just love him or think he's great, and they just say, let's just put Fred in here somewhere.
What do you want to do, Fred?
Yeah, let's get Fred because Fred's going to be great in this. Whatever.
You never have to go like, hey, we have a character who's like this. You just go like, Fred, whatever you want to. And then he's like, I've been thinking about being a serial killer. Okay, good. Yeah, that'll work perfectly. Like maybe I've been in jail for a really long time and like then I steal the key from somebody and I like lie about being piano player. That's a decent Fred Armisen impression.
But I'm a nice guy.
I used to have a joke. I'm sure other people have done it, but I can't remember. What's the guy's name? Is it Frank Caliendo? Who does the like dumb impressions?
Yeah, that is, like I think that's right. I think you got it.
Is that his name?
Something like that.
Frank Caliendo impressions. Yeah, Frank Caliendo. I used to do some joke about how I could do I can't do anyone else's voices, but I can only do his voice. But no one knows what really, and it was just like this. I'm like, hey, I'm Frank. My name is Frank Caliendo. And I like, you guys don't know it, but that is fucking spot on. Like so good. Here's someone else. Let me get rid of Marsh here. He was a Mad TV guy. I didn't get into Mad TV. Like there was a few sketches that I found funny, but there's something about the tone of Mad TV just like rubbed me the wrong way.
That's interesting because I really liked it. I thought it was a little bit edgier
than like SNL or whatever.
Yeah, just like it was just like real people making like just a lower rent kind of like. Yeah, a little bit edgy.
I mean, that's for sure. Yeah, but like, I don't know. There was something about it that just like, maybe the audience volume was turned up too loud or something like that. It just like whatever reason, I just didn't connect with it like I did with some of the other ones. I did like In Living Color and I liked SNL and stuff, but Quill sent another $5 to balance out the good donations. The last one was a bad one. Thanks, Quill. And isn't this great that I'm getting Cash App notifications? If you guys send a Cash App, I have to read it. It's the law. Wild Goose, you're our next guest. What's your age and religion?
Hi, I'm 27. I was raised Muslim and I'm deconstructing at the moment.
Good for you.
And thank you.
On the second part.
I didn't obviously want to come up to debate, but I was wondering if you guys would be open to like sharing a bit about what triggered your own deconstruction. Sure. And like just a bit about that.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't raised Muslim, but if I had been, I think I probably still will be or still would be, because that one's scary. What you're doing, especially as a woman, getting away from that is really powerful. Like you're doing a hard thing. And so first of all, I'm proud of you, and keep going, run as far away as you can, as fast as you can away from Islam. And fear not. The God that feels like it's chasing you down isn't real. And I think that's where my story starts. So when I was a Christian, it started to unravel for me for a few reasons. One was I started to think that the story of Adam and Eve wasn't real. Just like I was one of the people that was like, yeah, that's kind of a metaphor though. Like, I don't think that really happened. And then later I was like, wait a minute, that means that Jesus didn't need to happen either, because there was no original sin. And so it started to unravel for me a bit there. And then the other thing was just the problem of suffering. I didn't know the word of it. Like, I didn't know that was an actual philosophical concept, but I was like, why is it that when I pray for things to be good, that doesn't happen? Like, God should, if he's all good and can do anything, and I ask him real nice, it says he's going to do it, and it doesn't happen. And then there's all this bad stuff, and you see, like, you know, things happening that are bad. And I was already like, I know this isn't what like most Islamic people are like behind 9/11. I'm not saying that, but it was around that time that I was like, I'm out. Right? Like I was like unraveling it for a long time and dealing with it, and then around that time I was like, yeah, this ain't it. This ain't true. What about you?
Yeah, I've actually, I feel like I've been in like a kind of sort of deconstruction without calling it that for the past like 6 years or so. And I think it was like at the start of this year, it was actually following a conversation with my younger sister. We just kind of got into a conversation that was like loosely around like interpretation, and everyone is interpreting something about religion. Even if yours is a dominant interpretation, it's still an interpretation. And then we kind of went into a few kind of like bigger topics, like around queerness and like stealing, and it just the conversation. And this is my younger sister, and I actually think she's sorting through a lot of this. I really can see a lot of what I was sorting through, like at her age as well.
Are you in England?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not. I can tell by the birds in the background. Those are English sparrows.
Oh, yeah. English what?
Sparrows.
Oh wow! I have zero knowledge about birds, so that's cool. But yeah, the conversation just kind of continued in a way where I basically came away from it and I was like, oh, this is what non-religious people feel like when they're talking to religious people. Like we're just going round and round and round, and you're getting further and further into something that really clearly does not make sense to you, does not actually sit well. We're like totally far away from what would be like a natural sense of empathy. And you just it has to be true. So you'll do whatever it takes to make it true.
The mental gymnastics, like you've heard that word before, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I'd seen that, I'd noticed that, and known that for a long time anyway. And I think I'd kind of become a bit of an apologetic for quite a few years, and just sort of took space from it and wasn't trying to explain it. That was how I kind of stayed in it for a while.
Yeah. Are you when you say you're deconstructing, are you out? Like, are you able to say out loud, like, I don't believe in God, that's all not real?
I've had some conversations with close people, but my family doesn't know.
I just mean to yourself, like you can say that.
I feel like yes, okay. But it's like, because it's been about 4 months basically. I'm like still kind of trying to like really just be deliberate about my process and reasoned about it, and not lie to myself, but also not be super rash. So I would say now I'm like, yeah, no, I really don't think I believe this anymore.
Good.
But I'm kind of solidifying that.
You don't have to tell your family. Like, that's not something that you need to do. It's okay to like keep that secret. I did for a long time. Like years later, my mom actually kind of asked me, because she was like not sure, and I remember like her asking me, and I was like, yeah, I just don't believe this stuff anymore. But until they asked, I was like, it's not really, it's not their business.
Right.
You know?
What was it that solely that made you not share with them, or like that it's not their business, or was there something else to it as well?
Yeah, I mean, look, I was in my 20s by then, so you know, it's not like I like was in high school and I have to like answer to them or anything. But I'm just honest with my mom, right? Like we share honesty together. So I didn't want to just like come up and tell her, because I don't know if she like wanted to hear that. I don't mind hiding things from her that I think are going to hurt her feelings and stuff like that. But if she asked me, I'm going to be honest. Real quick, I got a Cash App from Amir that says, Joel is so much better at deconstructing theists. It's in the Cash App. I have to read it, so that's
probably true.
Well, I'm sorry. Just to be clear, just because it's in the Cash App doesn't mean it's true. It just means I have to read it.
Sounds true, though.
I don't see any evidence for that. But Wild Goose, I if there's anything in particular, because I do want to get onto the guests who are earlier in their phase of deconstruction than you are. But if there's anything in particular that you're like, I'm having a hard time with this question, or I don't know how to like lock into this thing, then I can maybe help with that.
Yeah, I think one question. One is like a broader question of what do you feel like what for you are like the strongest arguments that go that's really not a thing, because there are so many things, right, that I'm kind of that have been there for a long time, and I'm kind of like now understanding more and more, and so it's helpful to kind of have a different opinion on it. But the thing that I'm thinking about right now most is I'm just curious about how people are making sense of for example, like prophethood, and like what do you think was actually happening in the case for like Muhammad claiming to be receiving divine revelation?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just making it up, right? So it's very possible. Like, I think it's a mixture. I think that some of it was he really thought that he had a dream that was coming true, or a vision that was coming true. And so he, was like saying these things. And then once he realized people were listening, I think he also like made a few up. Like that seems so believable that someone would like say some things like, I think this is a vision from God. And people are, once they listen and you rise in status a bit, and then you go, I just got another one. Oh, he says to give me your sandwich. Sorry, just got to take that. And I think that did happen. We see that with Aisha, right? So with Islam in particular, we usually have this thing we have to do here where it's like, are you going to apologize? Or are you going to like, not apologize, like say sorry for, but do apologetics for why Muhammad was fucking a 9-year-old? Because that's a big problem. And so I looked into that more to see what it really said about that. And it came to him in a dream from Allah. That's his thing. So later on, when he was like getting a bit more well known, he sees Aisha and he's like, hey, I want to marry your daughter. And the dad's like, I don't think you should. That's probably not a good idea. And he goes, and he said, I had a dream that this little 6-year-old was my wife. And that dream came from Allah. And then they were like, okay, well then I guess we got to do it. So either it's the case that the God of the universe did want his like main prophet to fuck a 9-year-old, which is a weird thing to have to live with, that you have to like, that makes me at some point be like, if that's true, I don't want anything to do with it anyways. Or he's just making it up, which is much more likely. Yeah. And he's a fucking sicko,
That's really helpful. Thanks. I'm going to jump off to give other people a chance, but yeah, it's really interesting also because like growing up in it in a very like strict way as well. It's like those things, I'm really trying to like unravel what happens like psychologically and cognitively with this, because it's not that I'd never heard of that happening, that being a thing, but it really didn't actually like enter into my brain in a way that I could actually think about it critically. And I think I'm kind of, as I'm in this space now, I'm like, oh, if I have conversations with people about it, I'm still going to be encountering people who are stuck in the place that I was, where you kind of put this thing on a plate to them and go, how do you reconcile this? And I don't know what's happening, but I feel like people are not really able to register it. But anyway,
it's cognitive
I'm gonna
dissonance,
go and,
right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Like read the scriptures again now from this new lens, and when you read it, and it's like, and then God said this, and you're just like, no, he didn't. Like it's so easy to be like, nah, this is like so obviously mythology, and like it just is so clear. And then when you see people reading it and be like, and that's what happened, you're like, it is hard for us to be like, are you kidding me? You don't see this? But like when you're wrapped up into it, it's hard, So
I think it's also this like consistent brainwashing and indoctrination that happens when you go to the mosque or the church or the temple, right? And so like they've got all of the apologetics or whatever built into the front of their brain, so it's just blocking any of that critical thinking.
They speak in unison together, that thing, and like you all face the same direction and bow at the same time and become this like hive mind. And then what they say becomes true to you.
And it's like, what am I going to give up? I'm going to give up the community. I'm going to give up everything that I'm used to, everything that I know, and my eternal life. And like, that's so scary, right?
Well, so but for her, your eternal life was going to be like being some like shithead's wife or something, probably, right? Eternal life for women in Islam is not great.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like, and for me, I'm like, oh, okay, yep, this is not convenient for anybody because my whole life is gonna blow up. But we're here, so.
Anyways, okay, thank you so much for coming, Wild Goose.
Good to speak to you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, and hang out and listen up. All right, W's for Wild Goose. Appreciate that. That was a cool conversation. Like normally, if someone is an atheist or something, and it's like a W Meso plus situation. But when they're like in the process of deconstructing, I think it's interesting to talk to these people because that's the real reason we're here, right?
Yep.
We're helping people get out of this. And so if there's anything to help her move along her way, I'm happy to do a part of it. I don't know if you know this, but all Cash App claims are true axiomatically. I just read that somewhere.
That is true. I agree with that.
That was maybe not something I agree with, but that's what I had to read legally. Jeffrey, welcome in. What's your age and your religion?
Right, 55. I'm Jewish, right? In Judaism, I follow the Torah, the only real book of God, right?
I'm not convinced. So,
not either.
You're Jewish, but you don't believe in Jesus, just to be clear. You're not.
The JC is made up, right? It's fake.
What?
He said JC is made of rat spit. Jesus Christ was made of rat spit. That's what he said.
All right, so you're properly Jewish, all right?
That's in the Torah.
I believe in the Torah, right?
You believe in the Torah, right?
Right.
But do you believe that the God of the Torah is an all-good God, or he's just like a bit of a piece of garbage?
Let me really quickly...
There's no such thing as all good, right?
Let me just thank Grace for sending this Cash App. It says, this is for $5 billion. You're a billionaire now. Thank you so much. I'm going to get a bunch of chairs with that. Or maybe just, should I get one really good chair?
So I don't know who this guy is, but I've got him blocked.
He's got his camera on. Hey, Jeffrey, cam up. Show us your face here.
Why?
You have to. It's in the Bible.
You guys are a joke. You know that, right?
Yes.
You're joking.
I mean, why? Just tell me this, right? Why are all atheist people part of the LGBTQ community?
I'll tell you this. I'm not going to talk to you until you show us your face.
Remember, we talked to this guy before. I
don't even know you, Joe.
He's doing the joke, but he always goes and gets homophobic.
Yeah, that's the guy that we had before, where he like tries to do a troll thing, but then is like he's
actually bigoted.
Yeah. His camera's on.
But why are
put your camera on your face, or I'm gonna drop you. Okay.
You can drop me, you homosexual.
I'll just do that then.
How have I got him blocked? Well, I guess he can come up on your live, but like if I blocked him in your, because I feel like I would have blocked him in your live, unless he was up on mine and he did this. But I think It was yours. I don't remember him on my live.
No, there was a guy that did a thing once who was like talking about my nails being painted, but it wasn't like this was a different guy. This is someone else. Yeah.
I don't know how I got him blocked. I don't know when that would have happened.
Lucky.
Maybe it was my live ages ago. Who knows?
Or in comments even. Sometimes you see someone in someone else's comments and you're like, I never want anything to do with that ever.
Yeah, this guy's just gross.
Yeah, I don't think it's like that. I don't think that's some friendly troll person, because that's like maybe it is, and they're just awful. Look,
sometimes
there are
people think
atheists, right?
They're doing something. They're like, this is funny, but I'm playing the role of like a Christian, but then they still say something bigoted.
You know, you and I and what's his name, Joyful and Crystal. Like when we do, I am his pastor, and you know, there's these jokes of like women aren't supposed to talk, and they're reading the Bible verses, but like it's so, like
obvious.
Yeah, right. Like it's so over the top that I think it's like we're all here and we know that this is a joke and it's happening on their live, but to go into someone else's live and like be like, it's Pride Month, guy, come on. So it's weird. Yeah. Oh, he was the guy that called. Wait, he came and F-slurred you?
He called me? Okay.
That was in the BBDs recently.
The F-slur was in the BBDs?
Yeah, there's one where I had to beep it because someone said called you that, and then I was there saying, hey, that's my thing, where people come up and call me the F-slur. You can't steal that from me. That's my move.
We actually have a new BBDs episode coming out tomorrow.
All right, let's see if I can I keep on forgetting like what order these are going out. It's so weird now that it's like not us doing it.
I think it's this one's big heavy elephant titties or something. What was it?
Yeah, I think it might just be called elephant boobies.
Yeah, something along those lines.
That is it. Oh, that's a good one. That's going to be nice. New podcast episode tomorrow. If you're a fan of elephant boobies, like we are, then you're gonna love tomorrow's new episode of the Bad Bible Debates podcast. It has atheism, Christianity,
gray nipples,
cleavage. I think the thing is that we were talking about evolution or something. I don't even remember exactly what it is. We were talking about like evolution, and yeah, it's something how like because it's true that like we have the same number of teeth as like chimps, right? Like we have the same mouth lineup.
Right.
And we have the same number of neck bones as an elephant, which is surprising. You would think they'd have more, but they have 7 and we have 7 and theirs are just bigger. That's it. And so we were talking about that and how similar we are to, there's Oso. Yeah. Oso, that wasn't you, was it? We have,
I hope to God that was not Oso. He's better than that.
It might be. I don't know. Anyways, we were just talking about at some point how elephants have surprisingly nice tits. Like it's, if you like look up a picture of a, or a video, even like
confusingly nice tits. Yeah.
Yeah. You're kind of like, those are for sure gray, and a little bit like wrinkly and stuff, but like the shape is there, like it's working. And so, how similar that is. And it was just proof of evolution. No, it wasn't Oso. I wish that this guy was Oso. Let's see if the background noise is any worse. Enmism, where are you now?
I'm in a quieter place.
Okay. Did you want to pick up where we left off? Let's do a quick recap for everyone of what we were talking about before.
Sure. Well, I think we were talking about how... Well, first off, I want to say that I don't agree with the other guy that was on. It was saying that God is both good and evil.
We know he's not a Christian. Move on.
But I do think that, and I will double down on this, that everything that happens is for God's glory.
Yeah. Which means that if it had happened, like where there wasn't a Holocaust, then that would have been for God's glory. And if it happens that there is a Holocaust, then that's for God's glory. So either way is for God's glory. Why did he choose the one that has the Holocaust in it?
Well, let's not forget that we live in a sinful world.
Yeah, your sound got worse again.
We can't get away from the fact that we live in a sinful world. I mean that happened from the beginning, from original sin to
That's so interesting.
I mean, the question really, Symbiotic, is kind of like, does God work all the evil together for the good, or does God require the evil for the good?
No. I think I don't see the thing is I don't think it's required. I think it's just the way it happened, right? Because originally when he created Adam and Eve, it was supposed to be they were supposed to live in a sinless environment.
Right. So he could have. I understand. So he could have created a world where, let's say it this way: the Holocaust could have not happened, and everything would have still worked out for the good. It just would have been a little bit better because we wouldn't have had the horrific Holocaust, right? But he is going to work the Holocaust out for the good as well. But it isn't necessary. Is that correct?
There's a great, just real quick side note, there's a great debate happening in the Discord about where he is based off of the background noise. We're getting a submarine, inside a fish tank, maybe in a jacuzzi, which got me. I love the idea of someone just sitting in a jacuzzi with fish, maybe. Maybe he's a ghost manifesting in different places. Yeah, I think probably a jacuzzi, or maybe someone said we're in the fish tank and he's talking down at us. That's interesting.
Wait, it's not still hard to hear me, is it?
It is, yeah. It sounds like you're like a little bit in water. Oh man, that was a funny thing to see those. Oh, they say in the belly of a whale. Yeah. Okay. So, like, I don't know if this matters too much. But Joel, if you want to respond, or if you want to respond to Joel, rather, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I just think it's the way it happened. Just like when you think about the story of the Egyptians and the Israelites, it says that God hardened Pharaoh's heart. And so a lot of people argue that, he took his free will away. And I don't think it was that. It was just almost like, hey, this is what you want, so that's what you're going to get. And he was able to prove his power or show his power because of that.
Yeah, so if there are two options, a universe with a Holocaust and a universe without the Holocaust, the universe without the Holocaust would be better because it would be a non-Holocaust world, and God could still do all of his good.
But then there'd be less glory to God because the Holocaust brought glory to him. Anything you remove, right?
Look, I will agree that maybe I misspoke there. I don't think... I think that you see God's glory when good overcomes evil. I guess that's what I meant.
Yeah, what it sounds like, Symbiotic, is what you're doing is you're coping with all the horrors of the world. You're looking for the silver lining, and you're trying to rationalize this with your belief system, and it can come off as like really ridiculous and insane. But I guess what ends up happening with us is, if the greater good can be accomplished without the horrible things, and God's all powerful, then it would just make sense that, especially if he's all good, he would stop the horrible things and just give us the greater good.
I'm trying.
I mean, I guess he could. He could, but then we wouldn't be in this world in this time,
Yeah, it would be better. It would be better than this.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean by, it's just the way things happened. Obviously, if original sin didn't happen.
Yeah, I get it. But if God is the creator and he's in complete control of all the parameters. Nothing just happens. It's all within his control. So you can't really point to like, well, that's happenstance. There's no happenstance with God. It's providence, right?
I don't think he does evil himself. I think that evil exists, right? I mean, we understand the story of Satan.
He kind of creates the stage for it. He sets the stage, knowing what's going to happen. Allegedly, we enact the thing that he knew was going to happen, but he still is in charge of all the parameters which bring us there. You'd have to see that, right? Is he sovereign?
Well, as far as him knowing it's going to happen, I'm not sure I agree with that. You know, there's a lot of people that say that God knows everything, and that he knows what's going to happen. Well, then what would be the point?
Well, it's just that's omniscience, right? Like, if you don't believe that God is omniscient, then that's cool. I think that makes more sense, and I think that the Bible supports that he doesn't know everything. I think there are verses that say that he does know everything, so it's a bit of a contradiction there. But I would agree with you. Omniscience is a difficult thing to get a head around. But people do believe that, and common, like the most popular forms of Christianity. That's one of his attributes.
Yeah, and I've heard that, but then what would be the point? Like, if he knows I'm going to be bad, if he knows that I'm not going to come to him, or that I'm going to believe in him, then why even waste time?
This is one of the good reasons why you should stop being a Christian, because it doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
If God's all powerful and he's outside of space and time or something like that, then he could be all knowing, because he could simply move in time and learn all the things that he needs to learn about everything. And being all powerful he could just imbue himself with all knowingness, because he's all powerful. He can do anything he wants. So at the end of the day, it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. So that's why we're not Christians.
All right. Real quick, Meredith says this $5 in Cash App for the Joel Jr. Fund, W Mezzo, the dad that stepped up. I did for a little while, but I also did leave Joel Jr. at a fire station last night, or 2 nights ago. Yeah, so just, if you want your money back, I understand. And then I want to do this drawing real quick. I'm hoping this will help make sense. And what I'm saying here is, and just to do the pharaoh and stuff, I don't know if you can kind of see this over here. You have all these people who are enslaved. See how their legs are chained together? And they're kind of like frowning. And you have the firstborn sons of Egypt. And what God could have done is freed the slaves and let the babies be fine. And this would have been a freeing of slavery for God's glory. It would have been a beautiful way to just set people free and help them out, and everyone's happy and fine. But of course, in the other option, this is like a pool of blood down here, right? Spurting out from the baby. So you have the same slaves, the same baby, and then the outcome is happy slaves, dead baby. Okay. Now, between these two, he had both as options. Both were perfectly fine options for him. He's all powerful. He can do it this way, or he can do it this way. And he chose this way. This was his evil choice. This one is good. This one is bad. So what you're saying, where isn't overcoming evil a good thing? Yeah, right? Was that part of your thing? Yeah. So here he is, overcoming evil by setting the slaves free. Setting them free and then here he is, overcoming evil by doing another evil. Now there's two evils and one good. And in this one, it's one evil and two goods. He chose the way that has more evils, right?
I get that, and that's horrible, and I can't understand why that happened that way. But God is God, and God decides what he basically decides what he wants to do. He's the creator of the universe.
Yeah, and he did it the way that has more bad.
Yeah, I know, that's horrible. I can't begin to understand why.
I think Joel's right. I think it's time to move on, right? Like, if you can't, if you're saying, oh, the all good God did bad things, what you've come into here is a little bit of a contradiction that's massive. And I think the best way to solve this, because this is one problem, right? With this is one instance of this, but there's tons of these. There's so many. Every time someone, like, something bad happens to someone, it's another tally against God. And at some point, you have to go, like, this is bullshit. This can't be true anymore. Like, how many tallies do we need?
Yeah, but just because I think it's bad doesn't mean that it is bad. My understanding of why things need to happen the way they happen is pretty limited. It's a human being.
Yeah, and sorry, you're getting quieter again. But so what you're saying is, like, killing the firstborns of Egypt is bad to you, but God thinks it's good, so you're wrong.
Yeah, like, well, not that I'm wrong. I mean, just because I think it's bad doesn't mean that it is bad. I think it's something that if he felt it was necessary, who knows? I don't know.
We just showed it wasn't.
I don't understand everything there is. I don't understand everything there is to know about God. I don't think any of us do.
Yeah, but there's a symbiotic. There's a chance that when you don't understand something about God, it's because it doesn't make sense. Well, this is where, like, keeping those critical thinking faculties turned all the way to 11 is a good idea. Because, like, there's no reason for us to be like, oh, I give up. I'm not going to think about this. It makes a lot more sense to go, oh, wait, hold on. So God's supposed to be all good, all powerful, all loving, and this is the world we live in? We have the Holocaust and stuff? Let's try to do the math on that. And if it doesn't add up, then it could be that it's incoherent because it's not true. Like, don't discount that.
But God makes the rules, right? Okay, so when David sent
but also, by the way, it's also a character in a book. Okay, so you're assuming that God is real. We have to get there first. So let's look at the attributes of the God character that somebody made up, apply it to the world we live in, and if it doesn't work, then it could just not be true. I know that there's
one of the options.
Yeah, it's one of the options. I know there's a bunch of stuff in the book, and the book tells you that you don't know what you're talking about.
That's what I was trying to say.
It says his ways are higher, but that's still just the book.
You reminded me, Joel. I was trying to say this and I got distracted because honestly, the background noise is, like, starting to mess with my head.
I'm gonna mute you while Mezzo finishes his thought.
I have, like, a thing with that. Like, when it's summertime and we have to turn fans on, I get dumber. Like, the sound of fans really messes with me, and it's that repetitive white noise. It really does fuck with me. It's probably because I'm just dumb. Okay, that's better. So, Enmis, all of these problems, every time something weird happens that you're like, that doesn't make sense, his ways are higher, though, I don't understand this, I don't understand this, I don't understand this. All of these things are these, like, riddles, right? That you're like, there must be some answer to that I don't know. And what I'm letting you know, and that I think Joel is pointing out, is that there is one answer, like one single answer, like one solution that solves all of them at once. It fixes every riddle in the Bible and in the theology, which is that it's made up. If you just go, oh, someone made this up, it's not true, all of the riddles are solved simultaneously. There is no more issue at all. That's the only one that is, like, fixes everything at once so perfectly and easily. So, like, maybe it's not true, but man, it solved all of the riddles and all of the problems. Real quick, Rod, how old are you and what's your religion?
43, currently trying to deconstruct from Christianity.
Okay.
But
I'll talk to you in a second too. I just wanted to make sure real quick what you are, but and Ms., I want to give you a chance to kind of respond, and then just for audio reasons, I think we have to probably move on.
Okay. Look, I get everything you're saying, and I don't think it's there's an easy answer to everything that happens. You know, I think back to the story of David, where David sent his servant to war so he could basically steal his wife, and God killed his first son. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing either, but God wanted it that way, and I think there's a lot of things that happen that don't seem fair or just, but I think he has his reasons, and that's all I have to say.
Yeah, the God character in the book wanted it that way, and there's no reason to believe that it's true or that a good God exists. It seems more obvious that a person wrote it. What I would do, as I've recommended to many people, is whenever you hit a wall of like, why is this the case? I don't understand it. You have to say his ways are higher. Write it down. So that would be a good one. The Holocaust would be a good one. The whole problem of suffering thing we discussed today. Write these things down. Anytime you hit those walls, contradictions, all those things. And when you have like a list of 50 or like 150 or like 400 or, you know, there's tons, and there's no answer for any of them, at what point do you go, all right, this just isn't true. This is just like...
Remember, there is one answer, like the one we said, is that it's not true. That does solve all of them, right, Joel? Like that's the...
Yeah.
Because there is an answer, but it's just not the one that he wants it to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, and I want you to come back sometime if you can, and talk to us again. I would love to chat with you some more, but yeah, the sound is actually starting to hurt my ears, so I'm going to move on. All right.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much. Yeah, nice guy. Just really hard to hear him, and then earlier when he said the Holocaust was for God's glory was really hard to hear as well. He did come back and kind of like try to fix that a bit and try to say what he meant more, but I mean, he's right. If God's real and God does all of things and it's all for his glory, then those horrible things.
Yeah, it's a logical conclusion under certain doctrines, but it is horrific.
Rod, you have less background noise than he did, so you're trying to deconstruct. Is something holding you back?
So actually, in parts of this conversation, I wanted to touch on. So we were trying to look for like one answer besides everything being made up to explain everything, all the atrocities of mankind and all that stuff, right? And I think there is an explanation that is often glossed over, and it's the fact that the beginning of the Bible even gives that answer, and it's because as soon as Adam and Eve ate the apple, then that's when the evil started to come into play here.
But the Bible's not true.
I'm just saying, to explain everything, like all the atrocities. As soon as that happened...
No, that doesn't explain why God would choose to kill the firstborns. That would explain why, like, Cain killed Abel, right? Like, now, like, they're like, our parents are bad, we were taught bad. That like kind of makes sense then, but it doesn't explain why God's bad. Oh, the humans were bad, now I'm going to be bad. Like that doesn't make sense. It's also not in the Bible.
What do you mean it's not in the Bible? Like to the downfall of mankind, that's when it started, according to the Bible, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't say that that's why God started doing bad things.
No, but I'm saying like maybe God created the perfect world until that happened.
Oh, this is the religion of maybes thing?
Well, that's what it says, right? Everything was good. The Bible says that, correct?
Hold on one second. I got a Cash App that says angel penis is foreskin halo. Oh, these are good. These are band names idea. Okay, these are idea for band names. Angel penis, comma, foreskin halo. I like a band name that has a comma in it. That's fun. Okay, that's a good band name. We'll add that in there to the list here. So what it says when they eat the fruit is that Adam and Eve are going to die, and then they're going to be cursed, right? So that they're going to have to work all the time, and that women are going to be like submissive to men for eternity, and that snakes are going to not have feet, right? Those are the curses.
Yeah, but it encompasses everything, all the evil of man.
It's very specific with what comes along with the curse. It doesn't say, and also hurricanes are starting. I'm going to start doing earthquakes, tornadoes, tsunamis, and other storms, and I'm also going to make cancer now. It doesn't say all that. It's very specific for what the curse is.
But those are natural phenomenons. Those aren't like good or evil.
Sure, in my view, but in the religious view, God stirs the storms. He's the one who pushes the tsunami.
Well, there was a lack of understanding of nature back then anyway, so it's easy to say that the people believe that different gods are responsible for different things, like the god of rain, the god of this.
But Rod, you understand weather, right? So if, like, from your perspective, if there wasn't a fall, if there wasn't the disobedience, would we still have cancer in children and natural disasters today if we were in the perfect world God created?
Yeah, those aren't from the fall, is what he means.
That is a good question. Would those things happen? Maybe they would have, and then they would have been cured by God. Who knows? It's hard to say.
He cured a hurricane?
No, like cancer and stuff. I'm saying, like, because he does miracles through people, right? It wouldn't be like, stopping a hurricane. It would be stopping cancer.
Right. So why are there hurricanes?
Well, they're hurricanes because those are natural phenomenons that happen when certain conditions are right in the weather and the ocean.
Right. So if there's a hurricane coming and God can stop the hurricane but doesn't, now we have a bad thing happening. I also just got a message saying those were supposed to be two different band names. I put them together. I think they're better together. I think it's great. But thank you for all the cash apps. I'm going to get a new chair in about $220 or more.
So let me say something here. So hurricanes aren't good or bad. They're only bad when
I agree.
Right.
I agree. I think they're tragic, but I don't think it's an evil act. Unless there's a God, then they're evil. Right? Because he has the button to stop the hurricane and doesn't push it. I used this example earlier with somebody, and tell me what you think about this. And I think it was before Joel got here. So let's say, Rod, you have your daughter with you, and your daughter drank poison. I don't know if you really have a daughter, but just your hypothetical daughter drank poison, and I have the antidote. And so wouldn't you ask me, like, hey, can I have some of your antidote? My daughter's going to die. Right?
Well, that's a moral dilemma, right?
It certainly is. Now, if the antidote grows naturally and you can't reach it, then that's fine. But if I'm the one who has it, now it's a moral dilemma. And I say, no, you can't have it. I'm not giving it to you. I'm going to let her. It's mine. I don't have to give it to you. I know I have it. Actually, I've tons, I have like this unlimited supply, basically like lifetime supply. I don't even use it. But no, you can't have it. Now, I'm not like obligated to give it to you, but don't you think it's kind of fucked up? Like, isn't that kind of a bad thing to do, to not give you the antidote?
Well, I can give you an argument for why you wouldn't.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. That'd be weird. Go ahead.
Let's say that if you did give me the antidote for my hypothetically sick daughter, and she survives, and then she ends up growing up being the next female Hitler and destroying all millions of people. So maybe that's why you didn't want to give me the antidote.
So it's good that I let your baby die because, if I'm all knowing and I know she's going to go bad, you don't think that I could go, if I'm all knowing, I could be like, hey, I'm going to give her this antidote, but don't ever give her like the Mein Kampf book. She's going to turn out to be horrible. Please, like, I could find some other way to do it.
But by the way, this is a fun experiment right now. But just so we know, the analogy was hurricanes. So,
oh yeah, that's a good point.
Your apologetic for this, Rod, is that everyone that dies in hurricanes would be the next Hitlers. So it just
lots of Hitlers.
Just doesn't work.
Lots of Hitlers. Yeah, and that's the point. So like now, let's upgrade it a bit. There's a hurricane coming, And there's a bunch of, a bunch of baby Hitlers, but also a bunch of like baby non-Hitlers, like even a couple baby like Martin Luther King Jr.'s and stuff. And the hurricane's going to wipe them all out. And so you're saying, hey, Mezzo, can I have the antidote for the hurricane? And I go, actually, I have a weather machine. And it's like, it's this button. I just push this button here and it's going to like turn it off. And it'll just end the hurricane. And I'm not going to do it. I'm going to let them all die. Does that make me good? Is that a good move or am I bad now? In my view, I'm bad.
In our human limited brains, yeah, it's bad. But
yes.
Remember,
and that's what we should use for this conversation. We should use our brains, I think.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of scholars will argue that God is the authority of moral and goodness. So whatever he does is going to be the standard of good, whether we like it or not. And that's the thing.
I don't know if we should throw the word scholar around to mean apologist. I don't know if that's fair.
What's your standard of apologist? No, well, Rod, you don't want to, you don't subscribe to divine command, right? Like if God says, hey, go, I don't know, use, shove forks in every baby's asshole that you see. God said it, so that makes it good. Is that what you would say?
That's the thing. I wouldn't say that, being an intelligent person that
you would think it was bad, but you'd be incorrect. It would be good to shove forks in baby asses.
To me, it wouldn't be good.
But you'd be wrong.
I would be wrong. Yeah, I would be wrong. Yeah, you're right.
So you would be wrong. And so the correct thing to do would be to shove forks in babies' asses because God said so.
Well, that's what Job was going to do, unfortunately.
I don't remember that verse.
Well, Job went through a lot of tests, and he was going to, kill one of his sons, I believe, so he was being tested by God, and he decided not. God told him not to do it, I believe, from what I can remember.
You're mixing Job up with Abraham, but it's okay.
Oh, that was Abraham? Oh. Yeah, I haven't really...
Oh, yeah, Abraham was supposed to, stab his son with a fork up on the mountain, but then they did it to the ram instead. Right. But you have zero morals yourself then, right?
No, I wouldn't say that because obviously I wouldn't be able to integrate in society if I didn't have any morals.
Well, I mean, you just in actuality, you don't yours are maybe right, maybe wrong, but God is the only one who actually has the true morals.
That's what a lot of Christians will say, that, the standard of good comes from God and, we should just follow it.
Does God always get his way?
No, because the devil always... it's not always, but tries to
be stronger.
Yeah, get him. But
could God destroy the devil if he wanted to?
Let's look at the 10 Commandments.
Let's look at this. Could God destroy the devil if he wanted to?
Theoretically, yeah.
Okay, but he chooses not to. Could God stop the devil from doing all these things that the devil's doing?
Yeah, but
he chooses not to. So is God getting his way when the devil completes his actions?
Well, doesn't he explain why he doesn't do it in the Bible? Like he allows the devil to exist as a way of giving people free will to be able to be with him or not.
That's his will. He wants the devil to do these things so people can have their free will and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
So he does get his way. His way is to have these things happen.
Right, because if there wasn't a devil, right, then that would be a default of, okay, everybody worships God. But what is the test then, right?
I don't think that that's true, by the way, Rod, because we still have our free will. We're our own little devils. We have our devil and angel, you know what I mean? We don't need the devil to tempt. We don't need the devil around. We make our own decisions. And having a devil actually infringes on the free will, right? Because he's... using his power to influence us, which I don't think is fair. So the devil character is really unnecessary in the story entirely, and you know this because he barely shows up. To be honest, he's like a third-dairy character,
tertiary,
very tertiary. I love that word.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, but the Bible does say that the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So that's pretty much,
right, as God wills it, right? That's the point. So like, when we're talking about the Holocaust with the other guy, was it God's will that the Holocaust would happen?
Who knows? But I wanted to.
It seems like yes, if he never is like anything goes against his will, and that's what he wants, and then it happens, and that's what he wanted. So it's weird that he like is using hurricanes to kill some little baby Hitlers, but not the one little baby Hitler. Like, it just doesn't make sense. The whole thing is such a floundering, like shitty idea. But you want to talk about the Ten Commandments?
Yeah, the Ten Commandments. So when I was
before we jump over that, I just want to put one little button on this, which is to say that like, having the conversation where it's like God should have stopped the hurricane, God should have stopped this, is true and fantastic. But we just keep in mind, going back to like the poisoned girl analogy, where it's like, oh, why don't you give her the antidote? You have the antidote. God also created the poison and injected her. Like that's sure. Like what really happened. He could have not done that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So like if I'm the guy who has the antidote and I poisoned your daughter, it changes for sure.
I created the poison.
Yeah.
Like I made the poison do what the poison does. I injected the person with the poison, and then I won't give the antidote. Like
I have my factory over here. I make poisons and antidotes. Sorry, a bunch of poison spilled in the water. I was making it. I was being, not being careful enough.
I poured it in the water.
I poured it in the water.
Yeah. For fuck's sake, don't give him anything. Like right. He does it all deliberately. He's a monster. Like that's the logical conclusion to all this. Anyway, let's talk about the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, and now the guy in the factory is like, here are the 10 rules. Let's hear what they are.
Yeah.
It does make him sound like a sadist, to be honest. Like,
he's an absolute piece of shit fuck face.
Yeah, if he's real, like that's why he's not real, because it's just like that's not a good guy. He's not real if he's supposed to be all good, all loving, and all just.
Yeah.
Right. So so back to the 10 Commandments. So we're assuming that God is the authority of all moral goodness, right? So I think most people would agree that you shouldn't steal, right?
Yeah.
Or kill, right?
Yeah.
Or the other a couple of commandments that he gave.
Yeah, let's go through them.
Basic stuff. So what if those commandments, right? Humor me for a second. What if the first commandment was don't? Let's see, something that's
fuck kids.
No, something that's good that we think is good.
Don't give money to charity.
Right, don't give money to charity. Don't help out when you want to, when people are in need. Don't do obvious things that we think is kind of norm for us. Wouldn't that be kind of strange for a God to command us those things?
To not do good for good things,
for what we
not do good things,
what we consider good things to in the world.
Or opposites. Like we think it's good to not have slaves, but he says go have slaves. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, if one of the commandments was like, here's how to get slaves, do it like this, then we'd be like, whoa, this is weird.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He gives us, pretty basic commands of don't lie, steal, cheat, things like that. But what if you give us the opposite? Wouldn't that be kind of a strange?
Yeah, I wouldn't believe in him. I would be like, I don't believe in this anymore.
Right. So that's why a lot of people, believe that the moral, authority is coming from God, because he's giving us these pretty basic commands.
Yeah, but like if you were to read in the book that he says, hey, if kids are disobedient or something, you should kill them. You go, this guy's immoral.
I don't believe in this anymore. Like I would stop believing.
It seems kind of contradiction with the commandments too, right?
Yeah. That's it's a good point. Do you know that the 10 Commandments are not just 10? Have you heard about that?
I think I did. That it might be in the apocryphic.
No, just in the actual Bible. Like there's the 10, and then there's 11 and 12 and 13, and it keeps going. We just stopped at 10, I think, because we have 10 fingers, and we didn't want to keep counting.
Possibly. What are those other commandments?
Like it says to kill kids if they're disobedient. It says how to get slaves and how bad you can treat them. All the things that we were just talking about.
Oh, the shadow slavery, things like that. Yeah, those are the Old Testament. It's with the 10 Commandments. Right after that, it goes into the rest of them, and they all they include these things we were just talking about. Yeah, like you can't. You can beat a slave of an inch of his life and stuff like that.
Do you know that that's like on the same page as the 10 Commandments? Like it's right there with those.
Yeah,
and it's interesting, Rod, because it says in the Bible that God gave these laws, which were the 10 Commandments, to Moses, and then it says, and then he gave these other laws. Like he said it. So it came from the mouth of God, who you're claiming is the moral authority.
The Lord said to Moses, so there's the 10 Commandments, and it goes, you shall not cover your neighbor's house. This is the last one. The last one is, you shall not covet your neighbor's house, their wife, male, their slave, their ox, donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. When all the people witnessed this, there's like thunder and lightning, right? And it goes boom. And then and Moses is like, don't be afraid. It's just God. He's testing your faith to make sure you're listening. And then they kind of stand at a distance, but Moses is like, it's okay. And then right then, in this moment, the Lord says to Moses, here's the rules about the altar. And he keeps going. Here's the rules about the altar. Then the very next one is, here are the rules about slaves. Here's how to buy a slave. Here's how to treat them. Rule number 15, whoever strikes father or mother shall be put to death. This is from God. It's in the same place and exact time, like to the same day. He just keeps going and saying these rules. So when you're saying, wouldn't it be crazy if one of the 10 Commandments said, put your children to death if they hit you, your parents, then I wouldn't believe in God anymore? It does. It says exactly that right here.
Yeah, those some wild times, right?
Yeah, that's why we don't believe in it.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Whoever strikes a male or female slave with a rod and the slave dies immediately, the owner shall be punished. It doesn't say how. But if the slave survives a day or two, there's no punishment because the slave is the owner's property.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
This is what the all good, perfect God that is the moral standard sent down to us. I don't believe in this shit. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. I can't argue against it. I don't have an argument. Sorry. It's like.
So Rod, like, this is what's weird to me, because you're like, God is the moral authority. Look at the 10 Commandments. See, they're all pretty decent. So that's probably why people see God as a moral authority. Then we did this song and dance where we go, yeah, it's not like he says these things. And you were like, exactly. He says, but you knew the whole time, you knew about the beating of slaves verse and stuff like that. Why did you let us go along with, like, why did you let us play that game?
Well, there's a lot that's not explained, like why there are slaves in the first place. I think slaves were probably prisoners for doing crimes, and they probably got let out to be just slaves and servants. And then
either way, it doesn't make it okay for a God to say this is how we're going to do it. Here's how hard you can hit them. Yeah, there are many reasons why there were slaves. Sometimes they were born into it. There's like born slaves. Sometimes they're purchased, like a woman's purchased by her father. And then there's slaves of war. Then there's people that owe debts and blah, blah, blah. But this is God's best idea. And the reason why it's hard to get your head around this is because it wouldn't be.
Okay, I got an argument.
God was real.
I got an argument for you. All right, so we look at those wild times thousands of years ago and we're like, damn, that's pretty messed up, right? But society right now, women didn't even have the right to vote until like not even that long ago.
Right.
So now,
do you know why?
Why?
Because of the Bible. Because the Bible says women shouldn't have a voice. They're not allowed to speak in these circumstances. And people just kept on like going with that. Now that we're getting further away from realizing like that this Bible book has a bunch of nonsense and bullshit in it, we're going, oh yeah, we can do this now, right? Wouldn't it have been great if among the first 10 commandments, God had said, by the way, men and women are equal. Everyone deserves a voice. In fact, children and elderly deserve a voice. Disabled people deserve a voice. Everyone should get a chance. You guys should do like democracy and educate everybody. Everyone gets education and healthcare. You know, like, yeah, that'd be great if it said all that. But it says the opposite, which is why we've been stuck in this patriarchy for so long.
Yeah,
do you know what it says in the New Testament about women speaking?
Yeah, I do.
Like, you can't keep on like looking at this book or any of the characters of this book as being like a moral guider. Guider can't be a word. Fuck, that was dumb.
It's the guideless book you want to follow, honestly. You don't want to. You can find much more godlier books out there.
Thanks, Joel. That's better.
Yeah. All right. Well,
but leave it, man. Like, Rod, like, just you said you're sort of starting to deconstruct. You're thinking about it. Get out of there, man. Like, this book sucks. The characters suck. The God sucks. It's not true. Like the one good like silver lining in this, like God allows for slavery and not for women to talk thing. It doesn't sound like there's going to be a silver lining, but there is. It's pretendies. It's all made up. So now you go, oh, thank goodness. There isn't the universe creator that thinks these horrible things. Now we can go on living our lives. Drop the whole thing. Move on, man.
Yeah, we just said that to the last guy. It's like, what makes sense here is that people wrote this.
Right.
Because it changes. It's horrible. It's misogynistic.
Terrible people.
Yeah, just like terrible bros, just like rich ancient Hebrews that wanted to subjugate everyone else. You know, that was who wrote it.
We should have slaves, bro. And then someone was like, I don't think you should. He's like, shut up. Women can't talk in my clubhouse. No girls allowed.
Exactly. I want to get a bit of penises cut off, which is that's like a weird one.
Yeah, bro, cut your dick. Yeah, no, they do. That's like a jackass thing. You know, like, I bet you won't cut your dick. I will, for God.
But yeah, so you know, and then you know things improve a little tiny bit sometimes, but in some ways not in the New Testament, and then the church tries to make it better, but it's still bad, and it's because people are doing it, and it's fluid, and it sucks, and it's flawed, and there's contradictions because it's human, Rod. So just dump it.
Now, one thing I'll concede to is that there's kind of like a false choice here when it comes to choosing that to believe in it, because it's like the only way to get to heaven, you have to believe in this guy called Jesus, and if you don't, you're going to burn in hell forever and ever in a fiery pit. And it's like, okay, it's like what Pascal's waiver, I think. People just say, wager. So I'll just believe in this thing. But it's
Pascal's waiver is the thing that you have to sign in order to go on the field trip to Pascal's house.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a fear mongering tool to get people to believe something and go along with it. But yeah, if it was like a let's say more of like a free choice, like, hey, if you believe in me, you can have everlasting life, but if you don't, it's not too bad. Don't worry about it. You know, nothing's going to happen to you. Then that puts the pressure off. Okay, well, this guy's promising me everlasting life, and I could just believe in him. But if I don't, then nothing's going to happen. So it's all good. But putting the burning in hell thing forever and ever kind of just, it kills the deal.
It helped people. It really scared people into hanging on for a lot longer. And all of these horrific stories where God is like, not just commanding bad things, but commanding like the worst things. Not just like saying, here's what it's okay to have slaves sometimes. It's like, now I need you to do something. Goes slice up these pregnant women and chop up these toddlers. Now when God does that, it sets that fear in. Like, wow, this guy, he might do it. I thought this hell thing was bullshit, but look what he just did. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep believing in this. This terrible God, like that's so obviously evil, and try to just like pretend it's good so that I can not be smote by him. I wrote this down once. This was a response to the Pascal's wager. In the threat of like hell, or from these threats of God that are also terrible, it is hard sometimes. Like you're worried that if hell is real, it's going to be bad. It's going to be a bad afterlife. And so you're looking at these, like the facts that aren't lining up. You're seeing all these terrible things and you're trying to say, I still have to try to believe in this just in case. I think it takes a man with moral fortitude and a great constitution to stand in the face of a threat and say no. The truth is more important. Right?
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to jump. Thanks for the...
But wait, Rhea might want to say something to you.
Oh, okay, sure.
Rhea, do you want to say something to Rod? Oh, Rhea's not here. Never mind, you're fine, Rod.
Maybe her mic was something. All right. Well, had a good convo with you guys, so thanks for the...
Rod, I hope you deconstruct. I want you to like be able to one day say, this is all fake. I don't believe in this anymore. You'll find a great sense of freedom. All these things that are kind of weighing on you, like these like riddles that don't seem to like have a good answer yet. They weigh on you. They like, you don't necessarily notice it at the time, but like your anxiety is going to go up. And when you have this thing that kind of goes whoosh, and sweeps that all away. Oh, this is made up. They just made that up. Oh, okay. And then you can kind of go about your business in your life. It's really enjoyable, and I want that for you. So come back, hang out in the chat, listen to the conversations, and let us know when you're ready to say you're a full-blown atheist, okay?
All right, sounds good, man. Thanks.
All right, take care. Good talk. Good guy.
That was good. I like when they come up and they go, I'm just working on deconstructing, but then they just are like doing all the apologetics.
Right.
They're like, I'm halfway out, but God knows better than us. It's like,
it's a hard process. You did it pretty quickly. You were able to kind of do the switch over pretty quickly, but I was more like that. I was more a bit like, I don't believe in this God, but he is sending us to heaven or hell. like what? That doesn't, like, you are in this weird purgatory of rationality.
I think for me, the reason why it was so quote unquote quick was because I was doing it subconsciously in the background for a really, really, really long time, for probably like a decade.
Yeah.
And then when it hit, I was like, oh, okay, I can readjust. Like
you hit the ground running.
Yeah. So I think that, and to be honest with you, this crazy community, and I saw, I was watching the YouTube videos and, that was a good start. And then once I got into like actually making things and whatnot, it was just like, oh, I've got like tons of people here that are being supportive. And
I did not have that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mine was a bit slower, I think, is part of why. But actually, I was going to say, Rod, if you're still listening, get in the Discord. In Joel's bio, there's a link to the Deconstruction Junction Discord, which we don't run, but it's a group of people who are deconstructed or deconstructing. And there's, I think, are there 50,000 people in it?
That's a huge community of like 50 to 100,000 people, and just
and they
like
all talk.
Very supportive, way too chatty.
Let me see what number we're at here. How do we check how many people a thing has? Show member list. 5 bots, 10 streamers, super mods, 410 people are online right now. That's exciting. There are actually genuinely a lot of people in this. It's not 50,000, but there's a lot of people over there. And there are a lot of people going through the same stuff and trying to figure out, where they land. So you're welcome in. Joel went from "I'm just not a Christian" to "Tonight we dine in hell." What a great sentence. They have 3,439 people. Thank you, Shley. I don't know how to check that. Dusher, welcome in. What's your age and religion?
Duscher is Deutsche. 35. I believe in God.
Well, but God is unbelievable, like if you really think about it,
Oh, I see the prompt there. I got a question for you, man, if you might indulge me.
Sure.
First of all, I'm unfamiliar really when I just do a little bit of critical thinking about the terminology atheist from your worldview.
Mm-hmm.
From your worldview, we live in a godless world. So I guess in a godless world, what is an atheist?
Just a human being. It's like a human being usually, or like, I mean, any like entity that can form a belief and has, so I mean, I guess you could say like, my dog believes that when I ring the bell, they get dog food. And my dog doesn't believe that there's a God. So my dog would be an atheist, right? Once you can form any belief, you have the possibility to be an atheist or a theist, just depending on if you have the belief in God or not.
Right. Well, that answer of broken down is still from a believer's point of view. Like you're an atheist from a
I was telling it to you. You're the believer, and I'm not. So we have one theist and one atheist.
No, I understand that completely. But my question specifically, from your worldview, you view this world as godless. So
I don't think that there is. I don't believe in a God, is how I would say it.
Okay, then what is an atheist?
A person that does not believe in a God.
Right. Of course, that's from my worldview.
That's mine too. We agree on that.
Right. So
yeah, we're on the same page with that. Yeah. I think our definitions are in a line. What's a theist? Someone who does believe in a God.
Yeah.
There are two opposing types of people that some do and some don't. And then there's some people like our last guest was kind of like not sure. He's still like working on which side of the fence he was going to go on. And hopefully Rod is still listening, because I like people who are on the fence to listen to these kinds of conversations. And you can kind of say, do you want to, kind of come over with us where the water's warm? Or do you want to go over here where Dusher is confusing and vague and trying to be misleading,
No, man, I know this is the first time talking to me, man. I am, and I say this wholeheartedly, probably the most genuine person you've talked to. I try to look at, when I have debates or conversation, I try to do it in good faith and understand the other person's position. I promise you.
Sure. So do you know what I'm talking about when I say what an atheist is?
Yeah, I just still think it is defined based on someone else saying, or a believer saying, hey, there is a God.
Right.
So you wouldn't be an atheist.
Oh yeah, if there weren't, that's a great point. If there were no theists and there was no one saying, hey, there's a God, then I wouldn't eat, I don't think atheist would be the right word for it.
And that's my whole point. So
I'm with you on that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like the atheist is like default, but because there are so many Christians or theists running around, there has to be a word to say we're not that.
Right.
Like if let's say
let me maybe make one up and let's try it, right, Joel?
Yeah, exactly. But it's like a category though, because God's a category, right? So you have to come up with a new category that doesn't exist.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, let's just say Dusher, do you believe in Rugablond?
I'm not sure what that is.
Okay, but do you believe in it? Or you're kind of agnostic to it because you don't know?
Many cultures have their Rugablonds. Are you?
I think I'd be able to make a more informed decision whether I believe it or not if I knew what it was.
Okay, a Rugablond is like this, it's like this thing.
There's so many different definitions for a Rugablond that it's hard to actually just say what it is right now. But many different cultures have a Rugablond that they adhere to. So are you saying you're a Rugablond?
I know you just made an attempt to find it, but I'm still lost. So, can you relate it to something? Is it associated with something? Give me some.
Yeah, like it's like people believe in this, and it helps them guide their life. In a sense, it's a Raguga blend, but and again, there's like so many different ones that it's hard for me to like.
Hey guys, sorry, but I have to go. Everything's fine. I just got to go deal with something, and I didn't realize it was already 10 o'clock. I have to like shut it down right now. I love you all so much. Joel, do you want to like go live or something?
No, but have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to you later.
Okay, let me see if there's someone else who's on. And Doucher, come back. Like maybe I'll be back on at.
Yeah, I followed you.
Like at 12:30, maybe I'll jump back on. African Atheist is on.
Born Again Atheist.
Born Again is on.
Yeah, Born Again is.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Xename's on. Fluff is on. Yeah, go find someone else and say Mezzo Raid. Quanta's on. Sorry, everything's okay. I have to go deal with something right now. So thanks.